Hey guys, what's going on? So, are you a procrastinator? I know Audra will definitely claim that title big time. But it's very important with some of these duties and tasks that you put in front of you that you get most of them done. More importantly, like you can see from the title of this video, where we're kind of going with it because we had a couple questions all in the same week with two people dealing with the same issue. So let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, my beautiful people? Will here, Flawless Crested Geckos, coming to you guys with another video this week. And this week is going to be short, well, hopefully short and to the point. And also, we've kind of covered this topic before, but it probably got lost in our videos or whatever, our feed. So we wanted to make a specific video where it can be found and get whatever information you need to gain from this video, hopefully. So we had two people last week contact us the same exact issue. Don't know each other, just by chance, I guess it hit them with prolapse hemipenes on their males. It's normally like happens toward the beginning of the breeding season when you have a lot of these issues. You know, some newer, inexperienced males, you tend to have those issues. Well, we have a couple thousand crested geckos, and we've hatched out thousands of geckos. I really hate talk because I'm definitely big on kind of like that, how they say, you know, you jinx yourself. So hopefully we don't jinx ourselves. But in our experience, we've had to deal with prolapse hemipenes twice. We've checked all the information, took all the good information from all the forums, all the information from other breeders as well, and we applied it. You know, the sugar water, the honey, the soaks. We did all of that. But again, it's only happened to us twice. And neither time did any of that work for us. But I'll tell the story in this video, or the stories in this video. So if this information can help you, again, our transparency with you hopefully can help you if you happen to run into this problem. And I'll tie in where procrastinating kind of plays a big factor. So the very first issue we ever had to deal with when it came to a prolapse of hemipenes was dealing with Mr. Perfect, actually. Mr. Perfect is a Collapse kid, and he's awesome. He's part of our High White program, and he was part of our High White program. He started the breeding season, and out of nowhere, he had a prolapse hemipene, and we did everything under the sun. We put him in, you know, the soak, warm soaks. We tried the Q-tip, and we tried to massage it back in. We did everything in all the groups and everything, but we were unsuccessful. That being said, we were able to set up an appointment with our veterinarian, our specific exotic reptiles vet, and it was pretty smooth. We set the appointment the following day. We went in, and they had him in the back for maybe 4 or 5 hours, and pretty much came back to the counter. They had to amputate his hemipene. It was something like 200 and something bucks. And they said, you know, hey, they stitched them and all that and sent them home. We were horrified, but we understood. We're like, hey, the vet knows best. They did what they needed to do, and he's okay, and he'll snap back, you know. And it's not always about the breeding season. It was irrelevant. We put him back on the shelf. We make sure that we took care of him. He didn't breed anymore for the rest of that season, but he now has one hemipene. The following 2 seasons, actually, he did extremely well. He continued to breed, and he's doing awesome. We've actually moved him on to his new owner, and he continues to do well. So most will say that's a cool, awesome finish to a story. But let me get to the better story. So that's one scenario. We now have literally 3 different exotic vets that we can access. The furthest being an hour and a half away from us. So before I get into all those details, I'll tell you the second story. So the second story, this was during COVID. One of our exantic males, Gotti, had a prolapse hemipene. And talk about going through it. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. In the height of COVID, basically he had prolapse hemipene, and it was like on, let's say, a Friday. So we were literally trying all the tricks of the trade and nothing would work. So once we finally saw nothing was going to work, again, it happened on like a Friday. We were doing this entire weekend. So we'll let them soak. Then we read that you can't leave them completely soggy for the entire time until he gets it. So we're literally, he's hanging out with us. He's in the bedroom with us. He's, going everywhere. We stayed home the entire time, but everywhere he's hanging out with us. He's in the deli cup, or he'll be chilling in a 6-quart that's completely sanitized and dry. So we're playing the game of adding moisture, kind of letting them mellow out in a dry 6-quart, adding moisture. So we had them on a time schedule.
Hey guys, Flawless Crested Geckos here, Will, Audra, and we're here to tell you about our Patreon.
Yes, going through tough times, you got to know that Flawless is always going to have your back. If you go over to patreon.com/flawlesscrestedgeckos, you'll see all the perks and benefits it is there for you to come and support us on our Patreon. $50 a month turns around and goes right back into your Flawless Crested Geckos savings account for you to use towards your next purchase.
Any purchase. We also give awesome benefits such as 5% off the top of the price of the gecko. We give free merchandise, t-shirts, we give stainless steel tables, tools, yes. All kinds of goodies. We also give free shipping to our members all year round, no blackout dates. And, we give awesome tips, or we think we do anyway.
That's right. So go over to patreon.com/flawlesscrestedgeckos
and join our family.
Yes. And we were shooting, oh man, we can't wait till, Monday come around. Well, Monday comes around, long story longer, again, middle of COVID. So we call into our vet at the time, and our vet was closed. They weren't open, period. They didn't have special hours, nothing. So that made us, again, reach out to our next vet. And the next vet, they were closed, but they were open. And you had to set an appointment. In case of emergency, you had to set an appointment. So we called the emergency line. And this emergency, guess what? They set us an appointment for Thursday. Okay, so now it's Monday, and they set us an appointment for Thursday. So we kept doing, the same exact thing we did all weekend. It was literally emotionally draining, emotionally taxing. Our mood were it was really at the beginning of our exantic program as well. So, we were just burnt out. Stressed, completely stressed. So we did the whole dry, moist, and we made it to the appointment. Now, with the experience of dealing with it one time prior, we're like, okay, we didn't want an infection or anything to kick in. We had already wrapped our head around that they're going to amputate one of his hemipenes. We wanted to make sure we were providing the best care for him as possible until we can get him some help. We didn't want basically an infection to start and for him to get sick and die. So we wanted to make sure that he was being taken care of. So we had already wrapped our head around, hey, it's been 6 days. They're about to amputate. They're going to give him medicine, and hopefully he can pull through and heal, and and he'll be okay. Well, we go in on Thursday, and the female veterinarian, she's checking him out. Took her about 2.5 hours. And she came back out, she talked with us, and she said, hey, it's not going back in. And we already was like, all right, we know you're going to amputate. We already understood that before we went in. So she said, it's not going back in. The next step would be, to amputate. And we're like, all right, we understand. She gave us another 30 minutes. She went back in the back and came back again. And we really, really like this vet. This is our primary vet now. She came back again and she said, listen, we know this is your baby. Is there any way you can leave him here overnight? And we're like, okay, well, what are you going to try? Like, what are you doing? Well, we're going to give him some time to chill out and keep checking in between clients. And we're going to try a few different things. And at the last resort, we will amputate and he'll be good to go. She saw that there was no infection or anything spreading or anything like that. She said keeping it moist but not too wet, dry and back and forth was perfect and ideal for his situation. So she can take it from there. And obviously we agreed to do that. So we left him there overnight. Couldn't sleep that whole night. The next morning, bright and early, literally, we're calling. And they finally called us back. And she said, hey, he's ready to be picked up. We got it back in. And I'm like, what? And so Audra was all happy and excited. We jumped in the car, we head over, and we get him. And we had a long, lengthy conversation with her, which helped educate us. And she informed us that she too had a crested gecko as a pet. And, she's kind of ventured off and got a lot of information about them and care and everything. And she informed us as well that a lot of veterinarians that you work with, and this is going to be the informational part, we're past the experience part, but the informational part of this video, a lot of veterinarians, you're going to have to vet your veterinarians. See how much they actually know about the care and the animals. Again, not being disrespectful, they do know what they're supposed to know, but there's so many animals, so many reptiles in the world that they cater to and provide care for. You cannot expect them to know absolutely everything about your crested geckos. But when it comes to the medical needs, obviously there's, always, even in human care, why do you think you get second opinions and things like that from certain doctors? So make sure you vet your veterinarians, and that can consist of literally finding out who are the veterinarians in your area, going to their office, introducing yourself. Not that they're going to remember you, but just so you can kind of put a name to the face of your veterinarian. See if they're accessible. See if their bedside manner is okay with you, since you're going to be paying them your money when your gecko's life is on the line. So again, go to their offices, get their cards, know if they have an emergency contact number, a night messaging service. This is the procrastination portion of it, where you want to do all of this ahead of time before you actually need it. We didn't do that. And now hopefully our experience, you can learn from it and you can apply it for yourselves. But meeting our vet now was really game changer for us. And she told us, like, a lot of the veterinarians don't know even the basic requirements for a crested gecko. They would have to research it. But when it comes to the medical side of things, yeah, they, put it into play, whatever options they see fit, and then they move forward with it, just like any doctor would. So you want to vet your veterinarians. What we learned from that was, depending on the vet, they may take their time or may feel like they don't have the time to apply to what you may need. And the easier method would be to amputate right away. So again, get to know your vet, especially when you're bringing them your business, and make sure that you're comfortable with their services. And now you can kind of understand that there's some validity with crested gecko or even reptile keepers having a little bit more knowledge as far as care, wellness, and everything of the reptile species that you are keeping. Actually, whether you guys like them or not, we follow Kevin McCurley, and he's almost a veterinarian himself, from my perspective of watching him, take care of sick animals, provide care for sick animals in his facility up at Nerd. lizards, snakes, the whole nine. He often has people drop off sick animals on his property and literally abandon animals on his property, and sight unseen, and he'll open them up in boxes and bring them in and tend to their needs. I think special people like that, have a special place in their heart for animals. Now, what there are other things they do or business practices, whatever, we have nothing to do. I'm speaking on the kindness of that man. But again, the main message of this is don't procrastinate. Do all this ahead of time before you actually need it, and vet your veterinarians. But anyway, it's Will, Flawless Crested Geckos, and we out.